As with all of the study themes in higher politics, a democracy essay may appear as a 20-mark essay or as a 12-mark response. A typical 20-mark question on the study theme of democracy would be as follows. The benefits of direct democracy are far superior to those of representative democracy. Discuss with reference to the ideas of relevant theorists. To what extent are the key features of representative democracy superior to those of direct democracy? In your answer, you must refer to the work of relevant theorists. In order to score highly in the 20-mark essay, we need to ensure that we are discussing 4 distinct aspects. The 4 aspects that we have discussed in this theme of study are practicality, accountability, representation, and participation. These are 4 ideal aspects for these 20-mark essays. What we can see from the 20-mark essay questions is that these questions are based on comparative analysis. We need to therefore assess each form of democracy, direct or representative, against the 4 aspects or features of democracy: practicality, accountability, representation, and participation. What we must avoid is an essay that is separated into 2 paragraphs on representative democracy and 2 on direct democracy. We need to try to compare the 2 forms of democracy against the 4 criteria, the 4 aspects of practicality, accountability, representation, and participation. The 20-mark essay requires a line of argument that is best stated in the introduction. A clear structure and a consistent line of argument established in the introduction can help you acquire the 2 marks available for structure. Framing your line of argument should be done after watching the video lessons on democracy. The argument is probably not clear-cut. Is direct democracy 100% superior to representative democracy, or vice versa? Neither form of democracy is perfect, so perhaps you might argue in the introduction that in terms of accountability, participation, and representation, direct democracy may be superior. However, when it comes to practicality, representative democracy is a superior system. There is no one correct answer here. You just need to be able to justify your argument. You do not need to agree with the statement in the question either. You need to include the views of relevant theorists in this essay. Rousseau and Schumpeter are referenced in some of the videos. However, there are many other theorists that you could use. The 4 paragraphs that follow the introduction should be devoted to the 4 aspects. Therefore, you will have 1 paragraph on practicality, for example, in which you will compare the 2 forms of democracy. It is important that you write analytical comments like the ones that follow. What you can see now on the screen is a topic sentence that introduces the comparative analysis that you may write about practicality. It says representative democracy could be considered to be a superior form of democracy when compared with direct democracy, especially with regards to practicality. This is because representative democracies do not require continual engagement in political decision-making via referendums as seen in ancient Athens. It is far easier for political representatives to represent their constituents in a legislative body such as a parliament. This is particularly significant in countries with large populations where multiple referendums each year would be costly and logistically complex to administer. Of course, these points about practicality are not fully formed, they're just an example of how you could get started. The subsequent 3 paragraphs will offer a separate discussion about accountability, representation, and participation. In terms of the marking scheme, you should aim to write 4 descriptive knowledge points, 4 example points, and 6 analysis or evaluation points. The conclusion is worth 4 marks. In the conclusion, you should address the question and answer it. In this essay, you could rank the forms of democracy in terms of which is superior and why. You could offer arguments for and against each form of democracy. The SQA state in their marking instructions for the specimen question shown earlier that the following would achieve all 4 conclusions marks. It says, in conclusion, representative democracy is superior to direct democracy. Direct democracy may let people participate directly in decision-making, but representative democracy means that professional politicians are elected instead, which is more practical. Schumpeter argued that most people simply didn't have the time or proficiency to engage in such activity. In addition, this then allows those with superior knowledge, experience, and education to take up the offices of state. To allow all citizens the right to participate directly in the political decision-making process was not something that all theorists were happy to condone. Plato, for example, disapproved of the masses being considered capable of making such important decisions. Such people were, according to him, likely to be too easily influenced by the great orators. For example, it has been alleged that the Mormon Church influenced the outcome of the Proposition 8 vote in California on gay marriage by spending large amounts of money to influence voters. One of the arguments advocated by supporters of direct forms of democracy is it heightens the awareness of the citizenry. However, given social media and the 24-hour news cycle, voters are now much more politically aware than they have been in the past. While our video lessons did not cover the vote in California on gay marriage, it would be simple to supplement our knowledge on the Brexit referendum for this point. There are 3 different types of 12-mark question that the SQA could ask in the final exam. The 12-mark response requires you to include 2 or 3 detailed aspects. Analyze or evaluate the key features of representative democracy. In your answer, you must refer to the work of relevant theorists. This response requires only a discussion of representative democracy. Analyze or evaluate the key features of direct democracy. In your answer, you must refer to the work of relevant theorists. This question requires only a discussion of direct democracy. And compare the key features of direct and representative democracy. In your answer, you must refer to the work of relevant theorists. This question requires a comparative analysis response, unlike the first 2 questions which required a discussion of the separate forms of democracy. For this question, you should divide your response into 2 or 3 separate paragraphs on the aspects we have covered: practicality, accountability, representation, and participation. No introduction or conclusion is required for the 12-mark response, but like with the 20-mark essay, a comparative approach is required throughout the response. The marking allocation for the 12-mark response can be understood as follows: 4 marks for descriptive knowledge, 4 marks for examples or explanations, and 4 marks for analysis or evaluation. Each of the aspects that you include should be developed, explained, with examples provided. So now we can attempt the following 12-mark question. Use the notes that you made from the video lessons to help you.